kind of trail.
Let me ask you this, just one more, and then we'll pound through something else. This is a pretty open-ended question, so take as much as you need. But we went from, you guys have never played this before. Maybe you've played it with somebody else. You never played it how I have it in my head necessarily, in terms of the arrangement, to after 2 run-throughs, we're probably pretty much ready to go. I mean, maybe not to record or whatever, but it wouldn't be horrible if we were leading people with this song after what we just did. So that's kind of, when you have this, that can be kind of daunting. Like, there's a world of options here. How do I narrow that stuff down? And I know you guys do this instinctively now, but how do you help someone think through, man, I got 45 things I could play with this, because there's an E chord, and I can play E down here, or up here, and that's just piano, and I could do 35 different rhythms, and how do we narrow it down?
I think as a guitar, thinking as a guitarist, you again, listening. I mean, that's probably going to be a key word today in whatever we're talking about, but listening to your voicings. If you're playing fish and stuff down low, I'm probably going to go up, a voicing, because you got E down here, it's all muddy, and if you're playing fish down there, I might jump.
Right. So there's contrast.
Yeah, so there's contrast. That'd be the main thing that I would listen to.
Because we're the 2 harmonic guys,
exactly,
for the most part.
Filling in the voices.
And so we need to be aware, is that what you're saying, of where each other's at harmonically in the 88 keys or whatever?
And then the vocalist too. If I'm playing extensions that are clashing, like, play like some type of voicing where if they're singing a specific note and I'm playing that in my melody, like it's gonna hurt the vocals. And again, the sixth sense of people are gonna kick in. They're gonna be like, why can't I sing this in tune? It's because I'm a half step off you.
So being keyed into the melody as well as the harmony in terms of what's going on in the band.
Yeah, which is a lot to think about when you're also trying not to hit wrong chords.
Right. So that implies maybe that you actually have somewhat of a handle on what's going on musically with your own instrument.
I mean, if you talk to the right guitarist, yeah.
This is also about having a musical vocabulary. You mentioned, you look at this chart, there's several different options, but if you look, there's nothing new under the sun. Hey, that's just scripture. You know what I'm saying? There's only so many different places we can go with a song. So you hear a song like this, and you could probably think of a song that that sounds something like this. I mean, how many different drum beats could I conceivably play? There's not that many, especially if you don't want to get in the way of what everybody else is doing. I mean, I could solo over this entire song, and it'd be awesome for the drummers in the room, but everybody else would hate it, But if you're listening to a lot of really good music, then you hear a song for the first time, you kind of get a place in your head. You're like, okay, I think I certainly know what this isn't supposed to sound like.
I'm not going to play country groove.
Right,
yeah.
Right, exactly. So then you kind of narrow it down, and you've got a vocabulary. You've got a bank that you can go to and withdraw a certain guitar part or a certain drum groove, and play it for the. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's something definitely that professional musicians tend to have is, the vocabulary. And, it's nothing different than you guys are doing. You're just going buying a lot of records, and listening to them. And so when you hear a song, you're like, oh, I'm thinking it's more this band, or, oh yeah, what if on the verse we did like this thing, sort of like that band song? I mean, you're referencing that stuff. Doesn't mean you end up sounding like that band necessarily. I mean, sometimes these are just jumping off points. There's like shortcuts to ruling out all that infinitude of options down to a smaller.
Oh gosh. Come on.
Like that could be one approach.
That's my dad.
Too.
I should have answered.
That could be one approach too.
Yeah.
We didn't think. We didn't take that approach.
Hello, Dad. Dad, I'm in a clinic. Dad.
That's good. So, like, if I say Snow Patrol to Tim, he's probably gonna know downstrokes.
Yeah, you see, especially in a place like Nashville where people are, forced to, you've got to keep your game up. You've got to go buy a lot of records, and fortunately you can write that off.
You can?
At least I've been doing it. I haven't even audited yet.
So another thing I'm hearing, big theme, is like have a broad musical library to draw from, and that just comes through listening.
Yes.
I gotcha. All right, let's do this one more time, and then we'll go on.